What's up, guys? It's Wolverine, that's Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, and you're watching True Hill Heat. Who better? Nobody.
What's up, True Hill Heat? True Hill Heat.
What's up? True Hill Heat. All hands is on me.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for Rated Raw review number 6, reviewing the January 15th, 2024 edition of WWE Raw, as only we can. And of course, I am joined by my esteemed colleague, the face and the ace of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, the face and the ace over on the True Hill Heat Sports YouTube channel. After 18 hours of live streams, watching all the football games, he's back on here talking about wrestling. It is Mr. Romeo Anthony Cologne. How are you doing?
What's up, good brother? What's up, everybody in the chat? I can already tell we're off to a great start. We're on the same page. We're synced up. We both tried to press the banner at the same button, the ticker on the bottom. So we are rolling right here on a Tuesday. Long weekend with all the sports. A lot of blowouts, my goodness. But definitely shout out to everyone that joined us for all that. We'll keep it up this upcoming weekend with more football, Saturday, Sunday, 2 games each. But that's not what I want to rant about this afternoon. Oh, man. Better Call Saul. Listen, SB3, I know you don't watch. One of the greatest shows of all time. 6 seasons. About, I think it was 52, 57 Emmy nominations throughout its entire run.
Yep.
Ends its run not winning a single effing Emmy. Are you shitting me? Are you?
It must have not been that good.
Bullshit. Anybody who's ever watched this show, you ask your buddy Jimmy Macklin about that show, they know that is worthy of at least one time.
Wasn't it nominated in the comedy category this year at the Emmys?
I mean, comedy. It's a drama. I don't know.
It was. No, I don't know what category it is. That's what.
Okay.
That was what the big talk has been coming out of the Emmys, is different shows being in different categories. I am happy that my show, The Bear, swept at the Emmys. 10 nominations, 10 awards, most outstanding comedy, most outstanding actor in a comedy, most outstanding supporting actress in a comedy, most outstanding supporting actor in a comedy. This is the best show on TV.
Congrats to that. I know Succession went crazy too. Congrats to Succession.
Succession did really well. Beef was another one that did really well on this year at the Emmys. Shout out to Quinta Brunson, who became the first Black actress to win Best Leading Actress for a comedy series. She won the first Black actress in 42 years to win that award since the lead actress on
MLK Day too.
The Jeffersons. Yeah.
So great job.
And you also saw the reunion of the Martin cast, and they made good points too. How the hell was Martin never nominated for an Emmy?
Not even a nomination.
Not even a nomination. Like how is there like five season run, 132 episodes? You telling me that Martin Lawrence was never nominated for an Emmy for lead actor? No, just for lead actor in a comedy series. Like, who was bigger than Martin in the 90s? Like, you had Jerry Seinfeld. I'm sure Jerry Seinfeld received a bunch of nominees, but Martin, really?
Will Smith got some nominations, I'm sure.
Probably did. He was on NBC as well, so that helped.
Yeah. But all those shows you were talking about earlier, man, you know, congrats to them. And I got to say one thing about them. Never seen it.
Of course. Of course. Of course. You never seen anything, apparently, sir.
I'll plan on it. It's on my list. You just made the list.
You just made the list. No, I do need to watch Beef. Beef is one that won some awards that I didn't watch. The Dahmer series that everybody was talking about, I never watched that. Yep. So I gotta watch that because the supporting actress from there, she won one of the awards. But yeah, I tell everybody, y'all need to watch The Bear. My boy Jimmy Macaram over on his channel, he's got videos reacting to season 1 and season 2 of The Bear. Best show on TV.
It's on the list.
It needs to be on the list immediately. Like
it's like number 2,131, I think.
You're never gonna watch it, basically. But yes, we got to talk about WWE Raw on Happy Martin Luther King Day, everyone. Belated Martin Luther King Day, MLK Day, and this Monday Night Raw, January 15th, 2024, was from Little Rock, Arkansas. Snowy Little Rock, Arkansas. We got some snow to open the show. What did you think about the crowd last night in Little Rock?
Pretty good for when they had stuff in the ring that you could expect the crowd to react to, and then pretty, blah when you put stuff out there that a crowd shouldn't react.
And we should have probably apologized to the folks watching at home, folks that are fans of Rated Raw Review, because our little review show here started the biggest news story in wrestling last week of our debate of Hook versus Jinder Mahal triggered Tony Khan, and Tony Khan went on a whole Twitter outburst because of it. You're welcome, everyone.
It was no coincidence. Right after we sign off, right after. You don't get to be shot. You could comment in the chat, burner, like nobody's gonna know it's you.
Exactly.
Like, thumbs up the video.
Is Jimmy right that Frantic World is really Tony Khan's burner account? Is he right? Is he telling the truth?
I have to look into that.
Yes, thank you all for joining us live. We appreciate y'all if you're watching us live, watching us on demand. Remember to show that appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on the video if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're watching us on Facebook, you could drop a heart, a like, a laugh emoji, an angry emoji. However, WWE Raw from last night made you feel, you could do it with those emotes. And of course, hit the subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. And of course, most importantly, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Your comments are also important. We try to highlight as many as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous and you want to give back to what we do here, you can send a super chat donation. That is also important to what we do. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we give a little bit more time to those super chat donations. So always appreciate that. And you can also hit the join button and become a member, like our good friend Queen Monet here in the chat saying, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us in snowy Little Rock, Arkansas that Romeo has us here in. But let's get into last night's WWE Raw. The show kicked off with the participants in tonight's main event. Seth freaking Rollins arriving at the building with his beautiful daughter. Looks exactly like Becky Lynch. It's crazy. It's crazy.
More like her, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Jinder Mahal arriving at the building, looking very classy man. And we kick off the show with none other than Cody Rhodes coming out to the ring. And we got to talk about the new Raw big screen, the new set, the new stage that they have for Monday Night Raw. What did you think about the new stage?
I'll be honest, I didn't even notice much of a difference, really. Like, you're saying that's not, I didn't have that in my notes or anything like that. It's like, okay, like, I'm guessing, I don't know. What's so different about it?
It's like 3 screens instead of one big one.
I mean, I couldn't tell you what the old one was like. I just know it's a giant big screen. That's all I know. I don't know how many parts it is, but yeah.
The old one was just one big giant big screen. This one is 3.
Okay. Yeah. I got nothing for you.
He totally told me on that, folks. But yes, Cody is out here and he asks the fans in Little Rock, what do you want to talk about? He brings up a song about Little Rock, but it isn't sure if that's what the fans want to talk about. Instead, let's talk about why he's back in WWE, which is to finish his story. And the Royal Rumble is just around the corner. And he says that he plans to go to the Royal Rumble, but before he can continue, out comes Drew McIntyre. And Drew, he is interrupting here, but he asks Cody what he wants to talk about. He brings up their time as tag team champions, and he says, do you remember our tag team name? And Cody says, the Dashing Ones. Yes. He was like, man, I'm surprised we didn't. We weren't successful with that name, says Drew. He brings up their time on the Indies, which was good enough. He says that they became basically verbs. He says, do a Drew, do a Cody. He says they were so good that they got WWE to call them back. McIntyre's last match on the Indies, in fact, he says that it was with Cody. And he says, do you remember what you told me after that matchup? And he says that Cody told him that he would be a world champion one day. And he said he came back, he won the Royal Rumble, and that's exactly what he did. Rhodes needs to keep doing what he's been doing. He said he's seen the memes. He's seen all the jokes being said. He says he doesn't care about all of that. He says that he knows that Cody will be the first member of the Rhodes family to hold that title. And you can tell that means a lot to Cody. He says that Cody will finish his story, but McIntyre will finish his first. He says we hear about some people who could win the Royal Rumble, but McIntyre wants Cody to step up. And Cody brings up that how he's thankful and grateful, how grateful he is for everything since he's came back to the WWE. He says, while on the other hand, Drew is complaining about this second chance that he's bringing up. McIntyre brings up the people and Rhodes. He says Rhodes has brought to Raw. He says McIntyre brought up, Cody bringing Jey Uso to Raw and all the things that's been done wrong to him, how Priest screwed him. And he says that, or he endorsed. Cody brings that up. Cody calls him out for all his complaints. And he says the way to do this is to look at yourself and to look to the fans. He says, yes, McIntyre's last match on the indies was against him. He says he brings up that last match that they had on the indies, and he says he's getting all aggressive, and he says he brings that up, but he has one question for him. Who won? And he drops the mic and he walks away. I am loving the build to this year's Men's Royal Rumble because they are establishing everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own stakes, their own legacy on the line. You have CM Punk, who's trying to prove all the doubters wrong and come back to WWE and do something he's never done before and headline WrestleMania. He has to do that by winning the Men's Royal Rumble. You got Drew McIntyre, who wants to do this for himself. He said his first Royal Rumble win and title win was for the people. He is doing it for himself. He is just so self-involved and has all this basically PTSD from the pandemic. And then you have Cody, who wants to finish his story and basically redeem himself for losing last year. This feels like the best build, multiple people going after, and it feels important to them. One of the better builds to the Royal Rumble, I would say, since like 2002 was the last time there was like multiple people who felt like they were making the Royal Rumble win this important.
I gotta agree with you. Always fun when the best character in WWE, Drew McIntyre, comes out to the ring for a promo. And he's right about the similar career paths with Cody. The tag team champions, I damn sure forgot. You know, my memory is terrible to begin with. You think I'm going to remember Drew and Cody tag team champions? Hell no. I like Drew pointing out the big elephant in the room without saying his name. Dwayne. Seeing all the memes and the gifs. Drew wanting to see the real Cody, I thought was great because we know, what is the real Cody? Is it this? Or is it that?
He was like, you don't have to wear the suits and the tie.
Or is it that, you know, dastardly heel that Cody can be? We know he can play the shit out of that. SP3 knows in particular. Tell him SP3. Yeah, tell him. Drew continuing to blame Cody for Jay, and Punk is great, but he says it in the nicest way. Like he doesn't hate Cody, but he's trying to needle Cody. Yeah. And, you know, Drew is like a lot of people out there. They try to, you know, they're miserable. They try to bring you down and make you miserable too. And I love Cody saying that's not him. And that Cody mic drop was fantastic. Cody won this at the end, but Drew once again just so entertaining because everything he says is, you know, facts and fire, and he's like the most complete character in all of WWE. And what you're saying about the building up to the men's Rumble match, we got, you know, Drew and Cody, you got the Drew and Punk drama, Cody Shinsuke drama. Even, you know, we'll talk about it later in the show, but like they got mid-card feuds that they're getting drama for that too. It's like there's never going to be a dull moment in this men's Rumble match, I don't think.
No, it seems like they have so many different, you know, people popping up that have their own kind of stakes to it. And this feels like a Rumble that has the potential that it's going to start a lot of the build to WrestleMania. Because so many guys are making it this important to them that you could see some rivalries kind of really sparking. And we're seeing kind of the simmering of that with the Drew and Cody promo. Tonight on this show, you had Drew and Punk last week. And then we get a video from CM Punk or a post from CM Punk on his Instagram, which sets up next week. We have a face-to-face between the two odds-on favorite to win the men's Royal Rumble matchup, as CM Punk will go face-to-face with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And this one, man, I'm waiting for this. Punk better come correct. That's all I know. Punk better come correct because he's 0 for 2 in promo exchanges, and he's going against one of the better promos in the damn company. So this is a big test for Punk.
That one right there, we must see. Like they could get into a lot of stuff. I'm sure they're just gonna like scratch the surface, but even just scratching the surface gets you, you know, excited to see what they're gonna talk about. Pun intended. And you know what? Monday Night Football is over. WWE can smile again. They could breathe. They could wipe the forehead. Oh, finally, they survived. It's time to get back to business. I'll be watching live Monday Night Raw. Let's go.
There you go. And we should mention that Drew did kind of hint at that, saying that he was like, you welcoming back CM Punk with open arms. He was like, you just recently worked with him, so you know how he is. I like that. I like that they keep needling at that. They keep needling at that, like tippy-toeing around that. I like it.
Promo's gonna be so good.
It is. It is going to be electric next week. We go backstage to Damian Priest. He is backstage with, of course, everyone's favorite member of the Judgment Day, R-Truth, and he basically yells at him and criticizes him for selling bootleg Judgment Day merchandise until Truth says that he's been selling in the parking lot before the show, and he gives Priest his cut, which is a pile of hundreds, a whole stack. Priest then says, okay, just don't talk about selling the merch. Keep it on the DL. And then he turns around and says, oh, and also don't tag into the match tonight. And Truth says, yeah, don't tag into the match. Oh, yeah. And gives him the whole big week. Like, don't tag into the match. All right, gotcha. Truth and Priest. And the fact that Truth let it known in an interview this week, I think it was on Busted Open Radio, that it was Damian Priest's idea to extend this. This was only I've been saying it for weeks. That this was legit a 1 week thing that got over. And apparently it was Damian Priest that went to Triple H and the writers to extend this. That says that it's working and he wanted to extend it and make it longer. So I love that the story is kind of playing out how real life went, where Priest is the first one from the Judgment Day to accept Truth, and it's great how that's the polar opposite of how he reacted to JD McDonough in the group when he first came about. I love the dynamics there. So, what do you think about that? Knowing that fact in this segment here,
I'm happy, man. Look at my guy Priest, man. Like, that takes smarts in this business to know when something's working and when you should keep going with it. Like, first, it shouldn't be Priest's job to recognize. Like, we could recognize the shit was entertaining. Then the upper management should realize that too. But Priest, Priest going to Triple H saying, "Hey, writers, hey, what are we doing? We're done? No, come on. It's entertaining. And it's helping me out. It's helping out Damian Priest's character. Because when I watch a TV show, I feel sympathetic towards R-Truth, but I'm also starting to build a little sympathy and empathy with Damian Priest's character, because you're seeing Priest, he doesn't want it, but then he's like, well, it's kind of entertaining me and you're making me some money. It's like he's on the fence about it. And we'll get into that later too.
Yeah, that would play out more in the tag team match later in the show. I agree with you. We had our friends from the Smart Psychology podcast who were on the True Hill Heat flagship who compared the whole R-Truth in the Judgment Day to Sami Zayn in the Bloodline. And it feels like Damian Priest is going to play the Jey Uso role in this whole story.
Yeah, because you could go a lot of ways with Damian Priest's character, man. And it sounds like sooner or later you're going to have to pick one.
Sooner or later, he's going to be a babyface. I think before 2024 is over, he's turning babyface.
I think that's the way to go. I agree.
We do have a super chat donation from our good friend Will Chisholm. We've been missing you, Will. They've been slacking, man. They've been slacking in the super chat department without you the last couple of days. Battle in the Valley review, Hard to Kill review. You got to check those out on replay. Thank you, Will, so much. You're the best, man. Thank you. He says, Cody and Punk promo off next week. How many slick AEW shot will it be? I'm expecting at least one. At least one.
And that sounds about like the right number. Don't go above that. One is okay. It depends how it is. Like, do you really want to make it about that? No. So exactly. They got much more story to tell.
Yeah. Queen Monet, who says, I love how everybody got a cut from Truth except from JD since he ain't on the shirt. That was a nice little touch there. Kai saying Truth was out in the freezing cold selling merch and Priest still betrayed him. SMH. He says,
bro, was like backstage, like outside, they were freezing out. They had,
you saw them as they were talking. The breath.
Seth Rollins was freezing, yeah.
Kai saying, love the mix of comedy and strong heel faction. It's helping keep DP occupied while also building the tension of his eventual turn or big heel push. I don't think that big heel push is coming, guys. I'm more closer, especially after this show, to Judgment Day costing Damian Priest Money in the Bank than Damian Priest ever cashing in successfully.
That would be heartbreaking.
Yep, it would be. Next up, we had our opening matchup, which was, of course, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano DIY versus the Judgment Day's JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio, or Tom and Nick Mysterio. I love Truth saying that I can't find Nick on Facebook. This one I thought was just going to be your standard kind of warm-up matchup or a showcase matchup for DIY before they get a shot at the Judgment Day for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. But it became much more than that. This match got a lot of time, over 18 minutes in the ring. It got a bunch of time and really showcased DIY's ability to be the underdog baby faces. Johnny Gargano kind of working from underneath. He took the heat from Dom and JD. They were able to keep their heat segment entertaining and keep it moving, keeping the pacing up in the matchup. And then after the hot tags, this really got cooking into a really damn good tag team matchup that really just showed, especially with the crowd reaction that DIY got in this, that Triple H patient booking strategy is actually working for them. This match got the big "This is awesome" chant. You felt the crowd rallying behind DIY late in this one, as it really kind of was big, high impact moves down the stretch. Gargano was able to reverse a JD McDonough offense into a big DDT, and of course DIY follow things up, hitting their finisher, meet in the middle to pick up another victory. 18 minutes, 12 seconds for this one. DIY picking up another win, and I just love the slow and steady build up for them, and it really feels like this is kind of culminating. You don't want to pull the trigger too fast. I feel like DIY is at that place right now here in January where it would be the perfect time to hit the crescendo of this story with them winning the tag team titles at Mania. But I feel WWE, how they work with how episodic television, it'll probably happen on television on the road to WrestleMania.
Well, we thought once upon a time, like, the Creed brothers were at that doorstep that you're talking about right now that DIY's at. I feel like we haven't seen the Creed brothers since they pissed off Damian Priest, right? Have we? I don't think we have.
They kicked out of the South of Heaven.
We have not seen them, right?
They have not been in a match since then. But it's
And
only
now-
been like 3 weeks.
Right.
It's only been like 3 weeks.
But now DIY has far surpassed them now.
But I thought that they were getting the push. The push, the immediate, like, hard push. This feels more like an organic push. This feels like they had the rivalry with Imperium. Now they're in the hunt for the tag team titles. They've had their go-arounds with Judgment Day, but not a direct title shot. And they feel like they are building to their matchup. But I feel like this feels like right now, after this win, it feels like WWE might pull the trigger and make the matchup for, like, add it to the Raw Rumble next week or add it to, like, Elimination Chamber. I feel like they might do the title change there, where I feel like if you do add it to the Royal Rumble, that's fine, but it should be them being very, very close. It should be TakeOver Brooklyn 2. It should be their matchup with FTR at TakeOver Brooklyn 2, where they come painstakingly close, but they just fall short, and you could use the numbers game to be the reason why they fall short before they get a best 2 out of 3 falls matchup at WrestleMania, and that's where they win.
But listen, it fits directly into the narrative of what you were talking about before with Damian Priest and how he may have Judgment Day turn on him, because having him drop the tag titles would be a natural first step. And then, Finn Balor or whoever can be like, oh, you're too focused on this briefcase, like he was before. You remember he was incensed about this damn briefcase. He's gotten away from that because he's got the tag team championship now. But if he were to ever drop it, you could bring that back and rear its ugly head with that. And that's how we get to what you were talking about. But yeah, I thought, good match here. Good selling by JD as usual. Good heat for Dom. I like the little running powerbomb backdrop combo DIY did. I don't think I've seen that before from them. So the right team won. All good here. Yeah. They managed to go through 2 commercial breaks, and Dominic could use these matches. These formulaic tag team long.
This is helping him. This is all about Dom's
the other guys can do it.
He was like the least, like I won't say the worst worker, but he's he would be number 4 out of the
worst,
ring.
worst by default, but being in the ring with those guys, that's going to make you better.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of DIY, their road family, their family in real life and on the road, The Way was backstage, and they want to be doing big things in 2024. They inform Adam Pearce, in comes Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven, who said that they had the pin last week, but that dumb referee messed up, so we need a rematch to the rematch, a rematch. The Way won an opportunity as well, so Adam Pearce makes the matchup for Up Next. This was earlier today. We get even a little vignette showcasing The Way in an inset promo where they talk about wanting big things for 2024 and looking for those women's tag team titles. And that leads us into the next tag team matchup. And if you saw Johnny Gargano's social media, they had a hell of a trip, a whole of a journey due to the snowstorms getting delayed. They were delayed on a layover, and then they had to basically ride 5 hours into the snow of Little Rock, and they got a good effort here. 3 minutes.
Oh wait, so is that why they had the different stage? They couldn't get the regular big screen. Maybe they just had to get.
No, I'm just talking about the Way DIY family. That's what
I'm just saying maybe like it was a whole thing for the whole company too. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, the Way would pick up the win here with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell hitting a nice little assisted lion salt for them to pick up the victory here, as it seems like they are now being put into position to get an opportunity at the women's tag team titles. This is all world building. This is clearly on Triple H's booking on both Raw and SmackDown. We are seeing things that are over and stuff they're trying to get over and stuff that is getting over. And the first 3 segments of the show is basically that. Cody and Drew, they're over. The DIY JD and Dom, they is getting over. And this is one they're trying to get over.
Yeah, this was, too short. Like the ending was a bit clunky with Indy forgetting she's not legal.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I'm trying to build up.
The whole way they got into that assisted lion salt was awkward.
Yeah. Trying to push Candice and Indy, but I don't care. Kate and Katana, they're my tag champs. I want to hold on to it for a bit, so yeah, I'm on their side.
There you go.
Sorry, The Way.
It's like you getting in the way. We get a nice little vignette for Nia Jax, who is talking about basically she's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Not much here for this one. What did you think?
Yeah, no, just good production.
Good production, WWE. And then we go backstage to the Judgment Den, the tree house, the clubhouse of the Judgment Day. They're talking about
which is just a curtain with purple lights.
We get JD and Dom are disappointed with their loss. In comes Damian Priest as Rhea Ripley says that she's got to go talk to her division. And then we get the tense little moment between Priest and Rhea here. And then Priest talks to the rest of the Judgment Day. And we get Priest actually defending Truth to JD, who wants to take care of Truth. He says that they need to focus on tonight and focus on their loss that they just had to DIY. And Finn says, why are you protecting and defending Truth? And Damian Priest whips out the stack of cash and he says, well, he changed my mind. JD McDonough says, he says that you guys should talk to Truth about getting your cut as well, talking to Finn and Dom. And JD says, does he get any money? He was like, well, your name is not on the t-shirt, so I don't know. I love this the whole bit of the night was the money of Truth. That was the whole story, the little narrative thread that we had throughout the night with Truth,
great
Priest,
stuff,
and the Judgment Day.
And JD just continuing to get shut down. Like you hate on our Truth, but you want to cut of the money? Here, shut up. Get out of here.
Get the fuck up out of here, man. What you talking about, bro? So great stuff. Next up, we had the return of the one, the only, the Ring General, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, Gunther, as he is introduced by Ludwig Kaiser, and the fans actually seem happy to have him back. We actually get a little bit of a pop for Gunther to come out here.
What an introduction too! Like Ludwig, like didn't they have like a little background music subtly in the back? It was wonderful.
Yeah, he always does that. He does that for his big entrances for the pay-per-view. Did a few times on Raw, did it here. Gunther gets on the mic and he says that he can spell the desperation around here, but that might be just Arkansas. He says that everybody's aiming for the Intercontinental Championship, but everybody's also looking forward to the Royal Rumble. He says that Cody will be in the Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre is being in the Royal Rumble. CM Punk in the Royal Rumble. He says that last year, Gunther entered the Royal Rumble at number 1, and he set every record and was one elimination away from winning. And this year, he is entering again, and he is going to win. For now, he wants to focus on Ludwig Kaiser, and he says that he wants to see what he's been up to since he left. We look at Kaiser attacking Kofi Kingston last week, which Gunther loves and actually shows him some love and support for a rare time here from Gunther. But this brings out the returning Xavier Woods, who says that was too far for him last week, what he did to Kingston. He said he talked to Kingston, and the reason that Kofi isn't here is because of Kaiser. Woods is here to get some revenge on Kaiser, and he wants a match right here, right now, so he can either accept or maybe Kaiser has to ask his daddy for permission. Kaiser looks at his daddy for permission, and Gunther eventually approves, which leads to a pre-match fight between the two, which leads into our next matchup of Kaiser versus Woods. And this is a very physical grudge match. We feel the aggression and the animosity between these two guys. We get the gouges at the face, gouges at the eyes. We get some hard chops and slaps. I've really been loving the intensity in the feud between the New Day and Imperium the last 2 weeks, and we got more of that here with Woods and Kaiser. And once again, we get another non-finish. After 10 minutes, 10 seconds, we get Kaiser trying to toss the commentary chair at Woods' head like he did to Kingston last week, but this time Woods ducks. He then uses the chair on Kaiser, hitting him over the back with it, getting himself disqualified. Woods is bleeding from the mouth at this point. Kaiser, he picks up a steel chair. He's like, since it's a DQ, well, fuck it, I'm going to use a steel chair. Kaiser kicks the chair into Woods' face, his usual finisher. He then sets up Woods on the steel steps and about to do the same drop kick he did to Kofi last week, but Woods hits a double stomp off the steel steps to Kaiser. He then grabs the steel steps, throwing it at the head of Kaiser, who ducks. He hits the ring post, and then he runs after Kaiser, who escapes through the crowd, and Woods stands tall here. Really good stuff. This felt like, a good matchup into another really good post-match angle like we got last week with Kaiser and Kofi, and then Woods here showing a different side of himself, trying to get revenge for Kofi. I am just hoping. I am just praying this is all leading to the return of Big E to make this a full-on trios rivalry, but it ends in Big E versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 40. I feel like this feud has a lot of potential, a very high ceiling on it. What did you think about Woods versus Kaiser, the post-match angle, and what did you think about the promo from Gunther entering into the Royal Rumble this year?
The Ring General, Gunther. He just seems like such a legit threat, man. Like everything he speaks is gospel. He has aura when he steps in that ring and holds that microphone and looking like $1 million. And we've seen what he's done with the Intercontinental title. We've seen what he could do in the Royal Rumble just once. And them betting odds, they had him pretty high up there. Cody leaped
number 3.
Cody leaped him, right now. But he's pretty high up there. That's a threat. And Ludwig Kaiser actually made Gunther proud. Wow. And we saw a hug. A hug from Gunther. Oh my god. Some
It's
people
a
never
show of affection.
some people never in their lives have their daddy hug them, you know. This guy got a hug from and the "Who's your daddy" chants. You knew that. You know that's what Xavier Woods was gunning for. Xavier Woods, man. They botched the New Day music. It didn't start on time. It started like mid-sentence. And he gets no reaction. Crickets. Not a peep from the crowd. I couldn't believe it. This guy's been away from television for a little bit. Like, I don't think
Well, they didn't treat him with the presentation
not
he was returning.
right. And Xavier, I like Xavier immediately showing the aggression this feud, the storyline calls for. Ludwig met it right in return. They came back from commercial. Xavier's bleeding in the lip. Like, usually you're supposed to chill during the commercial, you know, do some rest holds. Not during this one, apparently. Not for this rivalry, but blood added to the visual of everything. And Xavier, I like Xavier. He did what he had to do. F a DQ, whoop his ass. F a D. Who cares about the match?
It ain't about that.
Ludwig a whole bitch for running away, but his cowardly facial expressions were great when he was running away. It reminded me a little of how great William Regal is at that. William Regal's the GOAT at the cowardly facial expressions. And they haven't told you this yet. I don't think so. But, well, we know about Gunther, but this is all probably leading to all of them being at the Royal Rumble match. They're all going to be in it.
Yeah.
And this is just more great build for that match, because that just means one more storyline to weave into the Rumble match. And maybe he's a Royal Rumble. Imagine he's a Royal Rumble surprise.
Yo, that would be huge.
My
so
God.
you have Imperium in there with Woods and Kofi.
They're beating them down.
And
beating
then
them down.
Here is either his music or the Biggie or the or
Please.
just him doing the New Day call. That would be
Please.
give it to us.
That's
Please
how it has to be written.
Please,
Imperium, all three of them, beating them down.
Make them healthy, please. That would be so great.
That'll be a moment. That'll be a moment.
We do have another super chat donation from our good friend Queen Monet, who is also a Patreon backer and a member of the channel, one of our big supporters. Thank you so much, Queen Monet, who says, I'm starting to think there's a chance Rhea may leave Judgment Day because she feels so distant from the group, including Dom. It feels purposeful. I think that they do try their best to have the little moments where she's with the Judgment Day. I think that the story that they're trying to tell eventually will have Rhea getting Damian out of the group. Because I think that if Damian is eventually going to leave the group, then you have to have Rhea in the group to be the leader. You can't leave the group with no Rhea, just Dom, Finn, and JD after you made Finn look like an idiot who can't pick up a briefcase.
But we've been talking about how Rhea's making this good baby face, and that maybe you might have to eventually split her and Dom. If there is a way to just leave Judgment Day alone, leave it in the past. You have Rhea and Damian both split, go their own separate paths. Finn can stay in it. JD, Dom. Maybe you bring on some new people, NXT people, and you call it something else.
They're DOA.
You could probably call it something else then. You could change the whole thing, leave Judgment Day in the past, and call it
something
else.
They're DOA then. That's the core, bro. You just told the story of the core. Keep the same guys in the same group together, but change the name. That's the core. That's when the Nexus became the core.
I think Finn can pull it off.
No, he can't.
I think he can.
He can't. He is not
because
booked well enough.
You need it to be in a heel direction.
He's not booked well enough. He is basically Jimmy Uso. He's Jimmy Uso. He's doing more comedy in Judgment Day than being presented as a top guy.
Then you give him some NXT guy that you're high on, and maybe he could take it over and then kick Finn out. Something. Yeah, or maybe it's Dom's group. Who knows? It's got to be something.
Yeah, Dom sounds like the leader. That's what they should do.
You could do that too.
Dom would be a good leader.
But I could see a direction where Rhea, you have to peel her away so you can make her babyface.
That's fair. We do have another super chat donation from our good friend Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. He said, Wood saw Battle in the Valley and said, do some of that. Yes. Battle in the Valley, man. If you haven't watched that already, you need to watch those final 3 matches. And Moxley and Shingo, a match of the year candidate. The second best match I've seen this year.
Great match. I saw it.
Nice. What did you think was better, Mox Shingo or Ospreay Okada?
Mox Shingo, but it's close.
Yeah, I felt like Osprey and Okada were getting close to 5 stars, but the ending just felt anticlimactic.
Yeah, agreed.
We got another super chat donation from our good brother, Will Chisholm. Thank you, Will. He says, Gunther said, I'm a better dad than Christian. That's true. Well, Christian hugs Nick Wayne. He hugs his favorite. Him and Fritz Von Erich, they rank their kids. We got Big Man Dogs. He says, I can't recall the last time a Rumble had this much fantasy booking material. Yeah. A lot of stories going into the Rumble. You love to see it. And it didn't. Yeah. It doesn't involve any legends, really. Like, the only legend that's been brought up that they reported on that's been having discussions about is Sean Waltman.
Yeah. You got to read my niece's comment.
Huh?
You got to read my niece's comment. Hi,
Got your niece in the chat.
Hi, Eliana. Love you.
Love it. I love it. Look at that. Uncle Romeo.
Make sure you thumbs up this video.
Love it. Look at that. That's wonderful. Got the family in the chat. My family never show up for me. You're better than your family better than me. But we got backstage. We get a quick little vignette with Bronson Reed looking menacingly into the camera, and he says, a current champion has been warned. He promises to win that unspecified title.
Oh, fuck off. You got like 10 seconds of camera time.
Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins at Elimination Chamber. Calling it now.
What a nice TV match to wake up at 3 a.m. for.
It's in Australia. It's from Australia. Come on.
Okay. Will Seth Rollins make it? We'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. Backstage, Xavier Woods is about to get interviewed about the whole big fight with Ludwig Kaiser. Kaiser attacks him from behind, jumps him, but Jey Uso comes in and makes the save, and this led to a bunch of people then putting like, oh man, is this leading to Jey Uso versus Gunther? And I brought this up last week when we talked about the Jey Uso promo promising to win a singles title. I think he's another guy that you could put into the discussion. I feel like Gunther almost has as many or more options than Roman Reigns for WrestleMania.
Gunther, that's probably got to be a chamber. Gunther and Jay. Because we already know Jay's match at WrestleMania. That ain't changing. It's good. You're going to see how that's set up in the Rumble. Watch.
Yeah. I think we are going to get
Jay
a
and Jimmy.
big clue of that. Next up, we thought we were getting a squash match here, but no. We get Ivar versus Akira Tozawa. The match doesn't go too long. It goes just under 2 minutes. It looks like Ivar is going for the Doomsault, but Maxine Dupree distracts him. This leads to Tozawa hitting a big kick, followed by a sunset flip powerbomb, and winning. He beat Ivar. I thought Ivar was getting a push, and he loses to Akira Tozawa here. But of course, he gets his heat back in the post-match. Valhalla attacks Maxine Dupree, knocking down Tozawa. They bring both of them into the ring. She does a pop-up headbutt to Maxine, while Ivar does a Doomsault to Tozawa. We get a promo backstage where Alpha Academy tries to talk up Tozawa. We also get Ivy Now coming in, says she's going to take care of Valhalla. And we get the announcement later in the show that Ivy Now will go one-on-one with Valhalla next week. Meanwhile, Chad Gable, the headmaster of the Alpha Academy, wants to take care of Ivar for his attack against his head student, Tozawa. So we get that one-on-one matchup next week as well, but weird way to build up Ivar. I don't know.
Build up. Build down.
Yeah, definitely. Agreed.
Listen, I got a nice pop, but this is by far the dumbest thing on the show. How do you have Akira Tozawa beat Ivar after all the effort, the very good effort you've been putting into Ivar? No good reason. There's none. Unless you're telling me like Ivar went backstage or it was like Triple H, you think I get a bump in pay, or Triple H, you think I think it's time for me to get a title shot, don't you think? Unless he pissed somebody off. Like, what are you doing here? And even if he did, who cares? You had a good thing going. And you like, even you put, the Chad Gable graphic on the screen, and I should normally be very excited to see that. But now it's like he's just so weakened. I don't care. Like, he got his heat back. No, he didn't. F that shit. That didn't do anything for me. Like, it's all so stupid. I'm not gonna forget him losing to Tozawa. No. If they had been building this as like something that was like a year-long angle, I know they've always had Tozawa medal with the big guys, and it just, there was no payoff there. None. Zero. None. So it wasn't even worth it. And if people thought it was worth it, you saw it was nothing.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I was like, why? Why did you need to do this? And it feels, I was like, I know we did like a full, because I like, before we even started doing Rated Raw review for our Patreon backers, y'all know I was doing the Raw review from the beginning of last year onward. But like, I've been watching it for this long, so I know for a fact that it feels like we've been watching Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders for a full year. And I know we had like a full like 6-month break because Gable got a singles push, got the feud with Gunther, but that was only like 2-month period. It feels like Academy and the Raiders have been feuding for like years at this point.
Yeah, and it didn't have the payoff of Tozawa that they wanted. Like, we're gonna everyone's forgetting about it. Well, I haven't forgotten. I'm gonna remember it in a very painful way. Not the way you want me to remember it.
Not at all. Next up, WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley is out for a promo, for a chat. She gets right to the point. She is going to be waiting on whomever wins the Royal Rumble, and she suggests that they don't pick her, they pick somebody else, because no matter what happens, mommy always comes out on top. But the music of the man, Becky Lynch, hits. And once again, for the second time in a month, I was like, damn, Triple H, we starting a WrestleMania feud already. Because I was like, boy, oh boy, let's go. First time in the ring, face to face. We've had the subtle backstage segments where they went head to head. They went face to face, had exchanged a few words. But the first time in the ring, Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, the man versus mommy, and Becky broke this down superbly.
Great camera shot.
Becky talks about their similarities. She says that these are two of the best ever. One who went to WrestleMania, went to the Royal Rumble. She said both won the Royal Rumble and went on to WrestleMania to become the biggest stars in the industry. But one went out on top in the main event while the other didn't. She says the difference is that she won the main event and Rhea didn't, but she knows that everything that Rhea has accomplished. And here they stand, though, now with Lynch wondering if this entire thing has been worth it. She says the reason that she asks that question is because she thinks that Rhea Ripley is better than her. Becky says that, but she needs to beat Ripley and win that title to prove herself wrong. She needs to win the Rumble and point at the sign to get that opportunity. And Rhea Ripley simply says that the only person who wants to see Becky Lynch win the Royal Rumble and go on to WrestleMania more than Becky Lynch is her. She says, see you at WrestleMania. And like, when it came to Becky's part, like circling her, how this was shot, this is one of the more effective, flawless segments that I've seen WWE do in a while, because it was shot differently. We got a bunch of great shots, like you said, the camera shot when Becky was in the ring. They had multiple shots when they were circling each other, whether it was them going face to face. And then Becky Lynch may be the best money promo in WWE today, because this sold the Rumble and the importance of winning the Women's Royal Rumble for her. This sold the importance of WrestleMania and why it's been this identifying event for both women's career, where they went to the next level by winning the championship at WrestleMania. But the difference between her and Rhea is the main event. And this honestly was a promo that set the stage for them to headline one night of WrestleMania. That's how good this whole thing was. But it also sold both ladies, and talking about she really knows how to elevate her opponent and make it look like this insurmountable mountain for her to climb. And also it put over the rivalry that's been brewing and simmering. And WWE has done such a great job the past 12 months of just keeping that feud on the back burner, having the little segments where they're face to face. But they have used that time to try to elevate the other people on the roster. Becky's time in NXT, Becky's 6-month rivalry with Trish Stratus, where they helped introduce Zoe Stark to the main roster. Rhea Ripley working with your Raquel Rodriguez, your Zoe Starks. Like, I like what they did in the past 12 months. All of it wasn't effective. And it was a lot of times I was asking myself why these two women, who are obviously the two most over women, the two only women at one point on the Raw roster, why they weren't feuding. It all makes sense now. They were waiting for the moment for WrestleMania season to start it up, and this was a great start.
It's funny because you had to do a lot of stalling with not just Becky, but Cody Rhodes. Like both of those on Raw.
Yeah.
Had to stall their asses off to get to where we're at now, WrestleMania.
I would say they did a better job stalling with Becky than they did Rhea. It feels like Becky improved upon her position in the time that they kept her away from Rhea, where Rhea, I feel, just stayed in the same spot because they didn't really know what to do with her. Like Becky had the Trish feud, and they helped out Zoe in that whole rivalry, and then she went immediately to NXT and helped out Tiffany Stratton and Lyra Valkyria. And then immediately after that, she gets into the whole rivalry with Xia Li, and then into that with Nia Jax. So they kept her busy all throughout the year, whereas Rhea, she just felt like she was on a treadmill staying in the same spot.
Yep. And, I thought this was a good promo, back and forth. And remember what I told you? I was like, I'm going to be very interested to see how the crowd reacts when they have Becky and Rhea both in front of them at the same time. And I feel like, the babyface cheers continue for Rhea. She wasn't even heelish in the way she was talking back at Becky. Like I thought she was just being fair about everything she was saying. And, this is the most obvious match at WrestleMania. But I'm looking forward to both the men's and the women's Rumbles matches, because even though I got ideas of what the World Championship matches are going to be, I don't know which one gets there at each Rumble. I don't know for the men, and I don't know for the women, because the opposite, you'll know much more. Chamber's going to be much more obvious, because it'll be 1-on-1. But you don't know which direction they're going to go with each match going into it, and that's great drama for both matches. Great drama.
Yeah, there's like big contenders. Like the two big contenders for the men's is Punk and Cody, and then there's always the dark horse of The Rock coming in, Dwayne coming in and doing just taking the spot from Cody. But also with the women, I think that it's more up in the air, where I can see both stories making sense. I feel like Bayley is the better call. Like I feel like Punk is the better call for the men's Rumble. I feel between Bayley and Becky, those are the two favorites for the women's
and Bayley's
Rumble.
Never won it, correct?
Yeah, Bayley's never won it.
Give her that.
Bayley needs it because she's taken so many losses on TV that she needs this more than Becky, where I could see Becky recovering by winning the Chamber more.
Do it that way.
Yeah.
Do it that way. But still, you don't know what direction they'll go, if they agree with that, but I like that idea much better.
Queen Monet saying the women's WrestleMania builds already feel 1,000% better, 1,000 times better than last year's. Yeah, because it makes sense. Like it never made sense for Rhea Ripley to just say, "Oh no, I'm going to go for the SmackDown title in Charlotte." When you were building to her and Bianca the whole year, you were building to that the whole year, and then just decide it would be the equivalent of Rhea does this promo and then. I don't know. Charlotte or Asuka come out and challenge Rhea, and that's going to be the WrestleMania match. Like, you were going in one direction. Like, they went in one direction this entire year of keeping Rhea and Becky on the back burner, and now they're going to it. Last year, they did it. They kept Bianca and Rhea on the back burner and never got to it.
We'll always disagree about that.
The only reason you disagree is because Charlotte's involved. That's the only reason.
No, it made sense to me because she had to, finish the story.
She did not. She did not have to. No one cared about that.
She
story.
lost to Charlotte.
No one cared about that story, and that's why the build was pwned, and why we have comments like this saying that already that one segment was better than the entire build for that matchup because it made no sense.
Listen, no, it made sense to me.
No,
it's just not as better.
It's just rehashing an old story. Rehashing an old story is not
sense.
finishing a whole story. No, it's not.
That's
no,
not
it does
rehashing
not.
the old story because it had a different
when
ending.
Someone is being built as the top heel, they should not be going against someone who just turned babyface and has been a heel for the past 3 years before that.
But it's not rehashing a story if you have a different ending, is all I'm saying.
Yes, it is. It's rehashing a story. It's just making a different ending. You can rehash a story and have a different ending. It's still rehashing. We do have a super chat donation from our good friend Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. He says, with that Becky promo, it told me that Bayley may win the Rumble and Becky wins the Women's Elimination Chamber. I can definitely see that.
Yep. But they could also see it the other way, where they want to have continue the damage control drama in a chamber match. So who knows?
We got Power Driver finisher. He says, because Bayley can challenge EO, and that be a good story, in my opinion. Yeah, I just love the storyline opportunities of Bayley winning the Rumble, and Damage Control believes she's going to cash in on Rhea, and then she turns around and cashes in our opportunity, says she's going for EO. I think that you can get weeks of television off of that.
And you have them all in the ring at the same time. Have all that star power in the ring. It'll be fun.
Exactly. We got Power Driver finisher also saying Becky deserves it for putting over other women, but Bayley challenging EO would make a better story. I agree. I do agree.
Give it to Bayley. Let her win her first one. Put that on her resume. Like SP3 said, she needs a big W.
She needs the big win of winning the Rumble. I just love how that would play out for Bayley, and it's a nice little accolade to add to her career, which is a bunch of great accolades that she has. But we did hear from Seth Rollins, who knows he's up against Jinder Mahal, but he's not going to overlook him, but he will retain the World Heavyweight Championship later tonight. He says this is a different Mahal, though, and he is ready. We did have next the Judgment Day going up against Awesome Truth. And of course, we have to bring up the great new little sign that they made for the Judgment Day and R-Truth entrance with the I guess it's like what is it like a CGI, the CGI Judgment Day with everybody in the hood, but you have R-Truth with
Lynch. I missed that.
Yes, so great. So great. Such a great little touch. Truth comes out behind the Judgment Day after Miz makes his entrance, and he even hugs it up with Balor and Priest before the matchup during their whole entrance pose. He then pulls out wads of cash from his pockets and puts it into Balor's jacket pocket. He then gives some money to Dom. JD asks about the money, and he says, "You have to be a member. like you're not on." I laughed out loud. Great stuff. Truth gets attacked by Balor, and then he fights back, and then immediately regrets it. He's not even supposed to tag into this matchup. What are you doing? Get out. Eventually,
bro started the match.
I know. Miz comes in for the hot tag. He runs wild for a bit. He gets a couple of near falls. He tags out to Truth. We get a moment where Priest is conflicted on attacking Truth, but he sees Truth attack Balor and eventually decides to go for his team, delivering the South of Heaven chokeslam to his good friend R-Truth as Balor picks up the pin to pick up the win for the Judgment Day in 8 minutes. This was just a fun little matchup to continue progressing the R-Truth and Judgment Day storyline, and I thought this was a nice little addition to that progressing story. But not much of a match. It was more of an angle.
I'm sports entertained, Hunter. You're sports entertaining me, man. Even though this is all Damian Priest's idea to keep this up. Thank you, Damian. R-Truth is hilarious, playing both sides of the fence. Miz is like, "You're on my team." Yelling at JD had me laughing out loud, and then when he was on the outside, you hear him. It's not supposed to physically hurt, and then he winks.
That was great. That was great. He's just so good. He's so good.
Is great storytelling, and like I said, for Priest's character, man, it's helping him because he's showing compassion, giving the South of Heaven. So I find that all very interesting.
Good stuff. We go backstage to Jinder Mahal, who is ready to get his title back. He says it's been nearly 7 years since the modern day Maharaja has stood on top of the WWE, and he's going to make a change. He says this is all 12 years in the making with Seth Rollins, and he will win the title tonight. We also hear from Shinsuke Nakamura following his loss to Cody Rhodes last week. He says that he is mad about the loss, but this story with Cody is not over until he says it's over. But now he turns his hunger towards the Royal Rumble match. He will get rid of 29 other men, and he will show them why he is the king. What did you think about Nakamura's promo and Jinder's promo before the main event?
How dare you hinder the Jinder while he's meditating? Very rude of I forgot her face, what her name is, Jackie Rodman, I think. And Nakamura, more of the same. Just I like the presentation and another angle for the Rumble.
Indeed. We got another super chat donation from our good friend Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will.
Thank you,
He
Will.
says, it also feels like WWE don't want Bianca to take a loss at Mania, and they wanted Rhea wins a title at Mania. Yeah, they accomplished both things. So I'll give them credit for accomplishing both things that they wanted to do. They didn't want Bianca to take a loss at Mania. They wanted Rhea to win a title. They accomplished both things. I just felt the better story was Rhea and Bianca. And I'll stand on those
two things can be right, man. I could be right and you could be right. Two things can be right. You're right and I'm right. It's okay to say it.
Rehashing a story is not right to me. I'm sorry.
I just said I understood why Rhea chose Charlotte. I understood. But I agree with you that the better story was on the other side. I agree with you that.
TK says we need another tweet for Jinder. It didn't work with just one. We need you to keep them coming, Tony. Come on.
Deathly silent. He's been off the radar for 2 days. Wow, he did not want to draw any more attention to this match at all.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
I think I got that question wrong in the prediction contest. Will Tony tweet during Raw? He didn't even tweet in 2 days.
Damn shame. Tegan Nox and Natalya versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark was next. This was kind of here. 5 minutes, 23 seconds. Shayna Baszler chokes Natalya out. It was over. Yeah. Anything? Any thoughts?
Yeah, the right team won quickly, and Natalya's so down bad. So down bad. So down.
All 4 of these girls I feel bad for them because they're all very talented, but they're not over.
No.
This started like the crowd being down that they didn't get back up until the late stages of the main event.
Correct.
And speaking of which, we had the main event next. Seth Rollins defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Jinder Mahal. And when I say the crowd wasn't into the opening minutes of this, we did get Damian Priest coming out pretty early in this one, but mainly they were not into this because Jinder Mahal's offense is fucking boring. And Seth Rollins was trying his best, making, doing more high flying, keeping the pace up, keeping the speed up. He hit all the big high impact moves. His selling was on point after this spot where he does a senton into a lion saw. He starts selling the knee. Another point, he hits a pedigree and he's selling the knee again. But apparently this wasn't selling from what the reports are circulating after Monday Night Raw, but it did add a lot to this matchup here. The Indus Share returned in the pre-match, joining up with Jinder Mahal, having his back in this matchup, and they became a factor, getting involved in the matchup at various points. At one point, Seth took them out of play with a big dive to the outside. He came back with a big splash inside the ring, but Jinder was able to move. Jinder was able to get one of his first really close near falls at that point. Damian Priest sat at ringside and watched much of this matchup. At one point, when Seth and Jinder were down, he looked like he was going to cash in at that point, but this brought out Drew McIntyre. Drew and Priest started fighting, which distracted our referee long enough for Indusher to use Damian Priest's senior Money in the Bank briefcase on Seth, hitting him in the head. Jinder hit the Colossus. I just had the biggest smile on my face the entire time because I heard the crowd and I was like, man, they actually got them with that. I was like, I know this ain't gonna happen. And they ain't get me. But I was like, I was smiled and impressed that they got the crowd with that one. A great near fall there as Seth kicked out at 2.99. Jinder really selling that one. The Indusher tried to get involved again. They are eventually kicked out from ringside. Literally, like seconds later, Indusher not even up the aisle. Seth hits a super kick, hits the curb stomp. 1, 2, 3. Seth freaking Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship. This was solid. Solid is the best. I will go. Solid effort. Solid effort. Good finish. The finish was very well laid out and gave you 2 really good near falls. But it was overall, the finish elevated a very boring first 5 to 6 minutes of this damn match. I was fucking bored to sleep. But eventually, after the commercial break, they got into the flow of things. They escalated things well, and they ended off on the best point of the matchup. So, solid. It's the best I'll do.
You want to know what Cage Match thought of the match?
Oh boy, what the Cage Match think?
What would you guess the Cage Match rating is on a scale of 0 to 10?
5.6.
You're close. It is 4.46, with the majority of people either giving it a 6 or either giving it a 3.
Such a wide range. But 6 for Jinder is like 5 stars for a lot of people.
For Seth to be able to get that out of Jinder, yeah, I agree.
I give Seth credit. I thought people ragging on this matchup. I did not think it was as bad as those people did.
Yeah, if I were to say if it's closer to a 6 or 3, I'd say it's closer to a 6.
I'd say,
but on the lower side.
Yeah, I'd say it's right in the middle. It's like a 4.5, 4.55.
Yeah. Priest coming with the briefcase, nice tease into the commercial break, and I've been hearing rumors that they are closer and closer to him pulling the trigger, which I think is bad news for Priest because he ain't winning if he's cashing in before Mania. Yeah. Unless they plan on him having a short title reign, I don't see him winning before Mania because he's not going to be in a world championship match at Mania. I don't think so. Sorry.
Oh, no. He better cash in at Mania.
At or after to have the best shot. It took the commentary forever to bring up how these guys were in the finals of the inaugural NXT Championship tournament. Remember? Yeah. I thought that took forever to mention. Yeah, and yeah, like you said, some of the crowd got a lot into that last near fall. It's like they just wanted to be there for a change, but once the change happens, they're like, am I sure I wanted to see that? Like, you could also hear shrieks of horror. I could hear.
Yeah.
No. Great drama though, because like you, I don't expect a title change, but they just made the odds seem so stacked against Seth with the briefcase, the interference, the Colossus. So they did their job creating a little bit of drama, maybe some for some people and a lot for others. And yeah, the match wasn't all that, but they hooked you with the ending, I guess. And Seth looked visually annoyed, like he knows this injury is not good. It definitely occurred when he did that moonsault off the middle rope. You see his knee just hit straight in the middle of Jinder's chest, and I don't know what happened, man. But we just need you healthy for April, bro.
Apparently he's gonna need an MRI according to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio. So that is not a good sign. Hopefully, Seth has had fast healing problems. He got before WrestleMania 33 in 2017, and he was able to get back just a few weeks before that matchup with Triple H at that event. But I'm hoping he's gonna be okay because, and it's like, dude, if he get hurt in a match with fucking Jinder Mahal before you're gonna headline WrestleMania for the first time, I would be pissed at management. I would be, you wasted me wrestling before Mania on Jinder fucking Mahal.
That's why I named this episode "Hindered by Jinder." Bro. And he was still doing high risk stuff after that supposed, the injury where it occurred. He was still doing it, which gives you hope that, maybe it's not that serious, because with someone with a torn ACL be able to do something like that, I hope it's just one of those little things like, like they get in basketball, the little meniscus injury where it's like 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. Because at least that, we'll survive and we'll have you for Mania. That's all that really matters, really. We could get by without you at Chamber or Rumble. We need you for Mania. That's what we need you for.
They weren't booking him for Rumble.
Right.
Yeah.
We need you for Mania. That's all we need you for. And hopefully it's an injury that's has a short timetable like that.
We got another super chat donation from the good brother Will Chisholm, who says Tony saw them AEW ratings and said, I better stop tweeting. LOL. I thought it would help. LOL. Nope, it did not. Under 800,000 last week. But I always say the rating for that week is more a reflection of the week prior than it was of the show it was actually on. Like, I think that Homecoming was a good show, so you'll see that this week's episode of Dynamite will be over 800,000.
I just want, can we as a community agree like that? Can we stop blaming Republican debates or anything like news coverage of that as to why AEW fans don't watch AEW? Because the AEW audience is largely not Republican. Let's be serious. Come on, man. I'm just saying.
Will,
you are the man, Will.
With another super chat donation. Thank you, Will. You're the best. He says, those fans act fake mad Jinder didn't win. They make me sick. Cat Williams. Make me sick. You have an unhealthy allegiance to losers, and that's not like you.
Jinder got his, one title shot per year, I guess, that he's entitled to. So we'll see you next year, Jinder. Good luck on the Royal Rumble.
Good luck, Jinder. Until the next time an owner of another company tweets about you. Later, guys. Romeo, we've
got some more next time.
We've come to the end of our review. So final call for everyone in the chat for super chat donations, but also let us know your match of the night, MVP, LVP, whether you gave the show thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give the show? For me and Romeo, for the January 15th, 2024 edition, MLK Day edition of WWE Raw in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Romeo, out of 10, what did you give the show?
7.1.
I went 7.5. I went 7.5, mostly because of the two promos, Cody and Drew and Becky and Rhea. Those really drove up things. And the fact that Jinder and Seth wasn't completely horrible.
They got me hyped for these Rumble matches, so they're doing their job, selling the pay-per-view.
All right. Romeo, your match of the night.
DIY versus Judgment Day. Well, half of Judgment Day.
By far.
JD's not in it.
By far, JD and Dom versus DIY. That exceeded my expectations. The most on this show, MVP, Romeo.
I'm going to give it a Drew and R-Truth. Weekly staples here on Raw of just entertainment.
I am going to give it to Becky Lynch, the best promo in WWE today. Yep, I said it. Regardless of gender.
Drew?
Best promo. Drew's the best character. Drew's the best character in WWE today. But the best promo is Becky Lynch. When Becky Lynch got a purpose, she knocks that shit out the park. She checked so many boxes. Drew, He put over his new character and the men's Royal Rumble. Becky did the women's Royal Rumble, Mania, Rhea Ripley, herself, their rivalry. She checked 5 boxes. Becky Lynch, best promo in WWE today. Romeo, who is your LVP?
Ivar for one. And I got to give it to JD McDonough, too, because he lost his match and he didn't get paid. I got to give it to him, too.
Yeah, definitely a co-LVP for me as well. JD McDonough and Ivar. JD, once again, taking the L for Judgment Day, didn't get any money. And then Ivar on this monster push and loses to fucking Tozawa. It's like, you did all that work for that? The fuck? Out of here. Yeah, honorable mention to Kaiser and Woods. That was a really good matchup as well. Probably my second favorite matchup on this show. Romeo, you've been all busy on the True Hill Heat Sports. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media, what you got going on over there, what you got going on over here, when they will see you next.
Let me give the results of the poll real quick. What does Raw get? 4% said a 9, 13% said a 8, 30% said a 7, and 52% said a 0 to 6.
Nice.
I fall anywhere within that range. You can follow me for Romeo Anthony on all forms of social media. Check me out on True Hill Heat Sports all this weekend for the games, the football games. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Appreciate everyone in chat. Appreciate all the super chats. Y'all really went crazy, especially you, Will. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate Will. Appreciate Queen Monet. Thank you so much. Follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, the True Hill Heat Prediction Championship, plus much, much more. We got ProWrestlingTees.com, ForYourWear.com for your True Hill Heat merchandise. And check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like the True Hill Heat flagship podcast from this past Saturday, where myself, Top Guy JJ, I always get the different acronyms wrong. Top Guy JJ, Drew Draw Josh, and Miss Chrissy Love talking about this week in wrestling. Check out our TNA Hard to Kill review with me and Astrid talking about the big show, the return of TNA, the debut of Nick Nemeth. We had Matt Riddle debut at Battle in the Valley, plus the classic match between Shingo and Jon Moxley, and Jack Perry debuting, ? Check that out, the review with Jay News, Sanal, and myself. And it will be out. It will be out this week. I'm going to do it this week. Don't worry. Our final end of year list, the top 20 matches of 2023 will be out. I will. I trust me. It will. But me and Romeo will be back with you next Tuesday to review Monday Night Raw, as only we can.
The go-home show.
Go-home show to the Royal Rumble. So looking forward to that one. Join us live, 2:05 p.m. Eastern Time next Tuesday for that. For Romeo, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been Rated Raw Review number 6, Hindered by Jinder. We are signing off until next time.